What's up, Vic?
Yo, what's going on, y'all? What's going on? It's another Three-Headed Monster podcast. Um, I'm Brother Brian coming live from Philadelphia. Um, Brother Jerome coming live from my bad, Carolinas. And we got some interesting, subject that we're gonna bring up. Um, we're still on it's kind of like a series of the dark side of, the United States American history. And I know today we're going to talk about. Tell them what we're going to talk about today, Jerome.
All right, we're gonna talk about manifest destiny. Um, Before we get into it, though, as always, everything that we talk about, everything that you hear us say, is strictly our opinions. Please don't believe anything that we tell you. Take what you hear, go research it, find it for yourself. It once you got it, come back. Let's build and let's go forward. Um, Now we have done a series on manifest destiny prior to this, and in that series we kind of broke down the papal bulls. We took it from, I think we took it more from the European perspective, bringing it to the Americas. So today, I guess we can focus on like what it means in America. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's it's cool. It's a lot, man. It's a lot
It is.
because of it's kind of like the American Manifest Destiny, and again, this has this is not the beginning, but this is the middle of what's really going on. Um, After the Europeans come here. Um, you this has a lot of other things tied in. I mean, it has a lot of stuff tied into this. So this is like the Great American Expansion. We're looking at 1844 through 1877 in a sense, and it starts off with an article. If I can get it, share screen. Sorry, y'all, my computer is really acting slow.
You fine?
This quote from John L. O'Sullivan. He's a New York reporter. Um, so manifest destiny is not a law. It's not an amendment. It has nothing government has to do with it. This is kind of like let's rally the troops. So let's find out a little bit more about who this dude is,
Well, I mean,
because
too with that's when that phrase was kind of coined when he said it is the manifest destiny.
mhm.
Like you said, it wasn't a official program, if you will, and I'm not doing air quotes, but you know you would do air quotes when you said it's not official, but it's a mantra that they took. Um, but go ahead, you want to go into him, but we'll unpack some more.
No, because I mean we have to understand what's going on. So he is a what we call Democrat, and a lot of people
Uh,
have to
Almost
understand that.
all of them were
He was part of the Democratic Party, part of the
right.
Democratic Party, and we have to understand what is really going on and what is the United States coming to, because this is after 1776. So this
Right.
is after the United States become the 13 colonies become a state, and they just adding more states, adding more states. And the thing about it, a lot of people don't understand is Where the hell you get this land at to make these states? Nobody talks about that. Nobody explains that. We hear about by this time we have the Haitian Revolution happens. We hear that Thomas Jefferson purchased the Louisiana Purchase for like 10 million, and I still don't understand where the fuck they get millions from. You just started. You just became a damn country. It's not even 25 years. It's about 25 years, and you become a country, and you can purchase part of an area that you. Sometimes I have to keep my composure because it kind of you stole land,
Right.
and it's
But I
I don't
mean,
know if
when you talk about Louisiana Purchase, I mean, because nobody was there, you can't see or you don't know how the actual money transaction went down. You know what I'm saying?
true. I mean, I'm looking at it in today's eyes, and in my mind, I'm like, how the hell did y'all do that?
But I
How did
mean,
y'all purchase
like I said, a lot of them were already wealthy men, though.
millions? Come on, Jerome. We talking about millions. But then at the same time, we have to understand who also is in control because they seceded from the British, but they still get money from the British. British company again. This is a corporation. So we're getting back to the quote manifest destiny. I'll manifest destiny to overspread and pose the whole of the continent, which the providence has given us from development of the great experiment of liberty and freedom, govern and trust to us. Let's break this down. Who the
Possess.
hell gives it's you got to understand certain words have certain meanings. For one, manifest is clear, obvious. That word providence is God's help. That's another word for God's help. So it basically, for Europe to expand to where they at, they saying God told them it's their right to do it. Um, we already talked about what's the Roman thing that we talked about, Jerome? Damn, I can't remember. For them to able to, do you say it was okay to put Africans in slavery? Oh, what's the
The doctrine of
discovery? The
huh?
doctrines of
Discovery.
discovery.
Yeah.
So we have this quote from a paper, New York. I think it's a New York paper. New York. So again, let me see if I can get this dude. He's part of the Democratic Party, not the Democratic Party of the day. Yeah, I take that. I'm gonna say, yeah, he's part of the Democratic Party. And again, he's rallying the troops. Yo, why we can't go westward? Why we can't go to Oregon? Why we can't go to Texas? Because those territories wasn't theirs yet. And I think around this time frame, they just got California. And I think California was they got California in 1848. 1848, it's not a state, it becomes a U.S. territory.
Territory.
Why? It becomes a U.S. territory because of the Mexican American War, which
Right.
is very, that's why I say it's a lot which ties into this. Um, because you have the Northwest Ordinance, Act of 1887, Louisiana Purchase. You have the Oregon Treaty of 1848. You have the Mexican American, Mexican American, what they say, Mexican Indian War. You have so much that's going on doing it. I mean, and also you have the Trail of Tears. So or the Trail of Tears already happened. So what gets me is a lot of people have to understand why the Revolutionary War happened because when you tell people you can't do something and they say, "Oh, you're not here. You can't tell me what to do." Everybody
Right.
thinking it was over taxes. It was deeper than the taxes. It was they told you don't go over Appalachian Mountain. You can't go no further. So all you see is the United States is. I mean, it started in Virginia. Everybody keep thinking it started in Massachusetts, but you can see they go downward. You have Virginia, you have West Virginia, you have colonies that they building basically going down the east,
East Coast.
east east coast.
Excuse me.
All the way, but they can't get Florida yet. So you have
Right.
all the way
Still.
all the way to Georgia, but you never see them expanding westward over the Appalachian Mountains. But
That's
they tell
because they were given a boundary. This is
yes.
your boundary. This is what was agreed to. So but when they, as you say, started formulating themselves into the thought of having a country, then they were like, there's an ocean that separates us from Britain. So you know, we gonna do what we want, and so that's the whole attitude of the manifest destiny, right? But and
Mhm.
then to say that God had given them permission to take and possess the land. Not only possess the land, evict who's on the land in any manner that they feel they should. See, here's the crazy thing, man. Like manifest destiny, right?
Mhm.
You still see it today. That's because when I say that, that's what the whole privilege is about. You know, when you see certain people entitled, why are you here in my neighborhood? You know, let me see your
Mm.
ID.
Mm.
Because you have this entitlement. That's the whole manifest destiny thing still being there. And it's like it's ingrained into a certain part of society.
It is frustrating. Um, but at the same time, it's kind of like, what do we do about it, or what is like you say you see it today. Actually, you really see it right now. Um, but we're not going to get into current events right now. We're going to stay on this. We're going to ride this wave out, this history wave. So a lot of people was wanting to go west because of gold, the gold rush, the California gold rush. Nobody pays no attention to that, and it's kind of like, why? You know, it's so you got them. You got these tribes. You move them west. You tell them to go on the other side of the Mississippi. That's what you tell them. Go to the other side of the Mississippi. You good. We ain't gonna mess with you. See, a lot of people have to understand some of these treaties are shady. A lot of these treaties are shady, but nobody says anything about it because of what? It depends on who's giving the treaty.
Right.
I can give you a treaty. I can put certain verbiage in it, but then it's like who's signing these treaties? Who's agreeing to these treaties? Because a lot of these treaties that Indians giving up, my bad, indigenous people giving up their land, because it's kind of like in my family, I'm not the elder. You know, when it comes to my grandma, because I still have great aunts, uncles who are older than me, which will be the eldest in the family. But you came to me and made this deal with me. You know what I'm saying? So you made a deal with me, and I signed over our family stuff. I mean, it happens with families, and I'm not saying that is a good thing, but at the same time, some of this, some shadiness is going on. So you have a lot of tribes that's losing land because somebody else felt like they need to sign over their land, or you giving them this money because a lot of people want to be Americanized. Everybody, you don't want that smoke.
Right.
That's basically what it is. You don't want that smoke, so you kind of be, I'm all right. I'm gonna give you what you want, but it hurts when you see this, and you hurt when you see this dude put out there saying it's our destiny to go from sea to shiny sea, from going from East Coast to the West Coast. Basically, they saying this is ours, and you ain't gonna do nothing about it.
Right. I mean, that's exactly what it was. And like I said, when you get people believing that God has gave them that message, I mean, you can't stop them. I mean, they'll kill, destroy, and do whatever since God has already given them the land. So whatever we do has already been seen, has already been in His will. So man, that's like it's a free ticket. And so you got to look at President James Polk was the one that he really pushed manifest destiny, and it was him that is that me you listening to?
Go ahead. That's my fault.
Oh,
That's
okay.
my
So it was him to push the whole sea to shining sea thing, in America. And like I said, oh, you didn't mention the Seminole War was going on at that time too.
I mean, dude, there's a lot that's going on. That I mean, I just threw some of the big hitters that some people might know. No, I take that back. Well, the biggest thing is the Louisiana Purchase. Once you purchase that, that means you purchase more land, but it's land that's already occupied. I
Right.
think that's what a lot of people keep making it seem like it. That land was just there. It was nobody there, and you know, it was up for grabs.
Yeah. And to me, it's like the French, they said they own it. Well, who they buy it from? You know what I'm saying? Because that's definitely not France. So for you to have that land, how did you acquire it?
Nobody wants to talk about that, Jerome. Nobody wants to talk about that because
It's
I mean,
because
it's kind of like it's kind of like I'm just saying it's mine just because I'm here.
right, it's exactly. I
And
discovered this land. I discovered these people that already own the land too. But and then it's like, because people say, well, they only got made $10 million. Well, that's $10 million profit. But they sure ain't got anything in
it's like they thought they bought it like in an abandoned warehouse.
it. Right, right.
I just bought this land. Ain't nobody there. Ain't nothing but animals there. Um, but it is. Our people is there.
Right.
Our people. Hold up, Jerome. I'm trying to get our. For some reason, I'm working on. You still not. You not on your Facebook page. It's not. It's still friends. Can you go ahead and work on that?
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Ooh. And tag me in on too on your post.
All right.
All right. So we have the gold rush, which 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 is more economic. See, now the comments popped up. That's what I was waiting on. Some of the comments wasn't popping up. Um, economic opportunities, because it's more land. So you can move. So, when you got so many people in one area, it's kind of like, all right, we need to move. All right, let's go westward. So we go westward. You have farmers and miners. So you got people mining for gold. It's kind of funny, man. Everywhere Europeans go, they looking for fucking gold. Like that's what they have to have. It's like what are you competing for?
You said,
Um,
what are they competing for?
or I'm not gonna say competing for, but it's just kind of interesting. That's the kind of one of the first things that they ask for is they come in looking for gold, and
Right.
which can be something that can be studied and come to it's a little bit more. Gold has history. Gold has been used for so much, man, and it's kind of one of those scenarios that you need to really study and understand if you want to get into it. But it's just interesting.
Yeah, I mean, gold is a lot in alchemy, you know,
Yeah.
especially at that time, alchemy was big.
So, and railroad workers. This is where a lot of people need to understand something is not, when you got railroads. So railroads, from the way, trying to get to California, or trying to get to the Midwest or any traveling, they building railroads like crazy. This is how the Chinese get involved because they use the Chinese to come here and help build a lot of the railroads.
Uh,
What you gonna say? You know what? Go ahead. Go ahead. You know how you like to correct me. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
now, I wasn't gonna correct you. I was just gonna say now you've seen a lot of the Asians brought over or come over um, on the Pacific side,
Hmm.
but a lot of the railways were built by people that look like you.
That's why I said thank you for correcting me, my brother. Thank you for correcting me. So I found something, and I'm trying to pull it up because now you have the Pacific Railroad Act of 1862. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to show you what they did, and a lot of people really don't know. It's how many acres they was awarded. That's what I'm looking for right now.
How many acres? What?
The Pacific, or the train company,
Yeah.
Pacific Railroad, how much they was granted to do railroads. You won't even just throw a number out there and see if you can get it.
Um, 14 million acres.
God damn, no, it wasn't. They was awarded 1 million. Yeah, no, wait a minute, no, 1 million acres. Yeah, 1 million acres, over 1 million acres. So you gave
Okay.
another company land that people already were settling in.
Right.
So it's kind of like I can build a highway in your backyard and you can't say nothing about it because this is our land. This ain't your land. You're not negotiating with nobody. They might be negotiating with treaties, but you have to understand they keep pushing our people. So that's why a lot of our people end up in Oklahoma. This is where a lot of our home base is in Oklahoma. Look at how far Oklahoma is from Georgia, and they walked that. A
Yeah.
lot of them didn't make it. A lot of them didn't
Yeah.
make it. We already did a series on, the Trail of Tears, which was basically more of the Cherokee, Cherokee tribe, which they got kind of like shitted on. You know, these
And yeah, and Cherokee, that word, that's kind of a mixture of different people too.
of a lot of different tribes. So when somebody said they Cherokee, it's kind of like Cherokee Nation, but it's basically a confederation. So it's a bunch of tribes that came together. That's something a lot of people need to understand too. So is Cherokee, you can say they started in Tennessee, but they became a tribe. They kind of banded together because they see what's going on. They see what's happening. I cannot find this place where it says how much land. And then you know what? Maybe I need to type in. Let's say awarded. There we go. Ooh, I take that back. All right, let me share this. Why is I getting the error?
Oh, that's a question. You gotta answer the question.
No, I'm back to finding out how much land Pacific Company was railroad company was actually awarded. There it is. 25 million acres.
How many?
25
25
million.
million?
And that was an act that the Congress gave them. So it's a difficult construction demanded an early completion of the line, ensure generous prevention to the company, including $25 million in cash, 25 million acres of land in the belt along the railroad, which the cost
I
of
was shooting
significant.
low when I said 14, but I knew it. I knew it.
So this is saying, and the monopoly over transportation south to the United States for the next for the 20 years. So this is getting crazy. Again, the fuck they get all this money from, man? Can't say slavery. I mean, the slavery business is not booming like this, Jerome. You might say that. I'm not agreeing with you on it.
But one
They giving
thing
away money like our country doing right. It's the same
I'm
thing
about
we're
to
doing right
say,
now.
one thing that you gotta realize that you don't have to have a capital backing the money to print it. I mean, they print money every day. And so,
True.
I mean, so when and plus they took us off the gold standard. So
Mm.
and even Nixon got rid of the silver portion. So this money, I mean, is as our old brother like to say, is fiat cash.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I mean,
My bad. My little man jumped in here. My little man asked
are
a
you
question.
fine? You fine?
So now we have, which is again, Congress gave the Pacific Railroad Company that much money and that much
Right.
acres. Sorry, I was lowballing with 1,000. No, 25. That's a lot. How can you give again? You giving away land that's not yours.
Who says it's not theirs though?
Our people said it's not theirs.
You don't hear
They
those
purchased.
voices. I don't hear those voices now.
Oh, that's why I don't like you, Jerome. That's why I don't like you. That's why I don't like you. But you're right. You don't hear them voices. So it was basically taken by force.
Exactly.
So we have that act, which was 1862. At that same time, Wait a minute, I don't think we talked about this. The Homestead Act of 1862 was also put in play.
Yeah, we did. I talked about the Homesteaders
I
Act.
know,
Like I
but
said, because
it was
you gotta look. There was acts that came in the back to back to back. First, it was the Immigration Act, and the Immigration Act, started to bring those Europeans over. Give us your tired, give us your huddled masses, give us the low end, the peasants, if you will. And that's how they began to feel America. And once they got over here, they said, let's create the Homesteaders Act where you give you millions of acres. Um,
so I
and
found out
so,
the information. I found out information. Anybody that was over 21, any male that was over 21, that did not go against the basically they didn't jump on the side of the Confederacy was awarded 160 acres.
now what's the first stipulation?
Not joining the Confederacy.
No, no, no. You said any male? What type of male?
It didn't say type, but I know what they meant. It basically any white male over 21.
There
Any
you
white
go.
male because they saying they gave it to, free slaves and stuff like that, and I'm like, we wasn't free at this time. Yeah, yeah, what was? No, we wasn't free at this time. So 160 acres, dude. You know what you can do with 160 acres?
But if you
That's
talk
free.
about,
That's
you know,
free.
you you said free men, and there were free men because a lot of people didn't take in consideration that slavery ended in, I think it's 1832, in England.
Yeah.
So England had made it illegal for there to be slavery. In the islands, that slavery had ended too, because those were British territories. So you still had free men that were in America at that time, even though there was slavery.
Yeah, dude. You gave 1.5 million people free land. And this is what Martin Luther King was saying before he died
Right.
that the government was giving away land to whites, Europeans. They're saying Europeans.
Exactly. And teaching them
Free
how to
land.
farm. They wasn't even farmers. They were teaching them as they were giving them the land.
160 acres.
Per.
So per per.
Per.
So this picture I got up is, the American Progress of 1872. Basically, when you say manifest destiny, you see this person. Again, you got to understand the subliminal message in this, and you have to see. There's so many things about this picture that I didn't never pay no attention to. So you have, you know, the white angel. You see her, with the line, which is attacking to poles, telegram poles, power
Yep.
lines, whatever. You have the railroad,
Telegram.
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 What did I say?
Railroad.
What did I don't know. What did I say at first? But
You said there's a
I
lot of
said, did I say
subliminal
telephone?
things. Huh?
So I said, wait a minute. Did I say telephone? I meant to say telegram.
Telegram.
So
Yeah.
you see the
Telegraph.
railroad. Yeah. You see the railroads. You see the city. You see how light it is here. Like, again, this is, America just coming out strong. You see the railroads, one, two, three different trains going in three different directions. You have the stagecoach. You see the land that they took from us because a lot of us left land that was already farmed. That basically some of the crops, because if the trailer tears happen during the winter, it's some people just walked in and it's like, oh shit, we got a harvest.
Right.
you know. So, and then you have, you got harvesting, our stolen land. You have these guys moving westward. You notice in the half that is dark. You got the buffaloes. You got stagecoaches. Not stagecoaches, but wagons. You have, our ancestors. Some, they don't want to change that color. Because they start telling everybody the truth. This is us constantly moving westward. I don't know what the bear
But
represents, but I guess you're telling you're destroying the wilderness
yeah, that's what I'm
because
about
you
to
have a
say. A
deer.
lot of that, but you don't. That lady uh, is is not an angel. That's actually Columbia. That's her name. It's like a god of manifest destiny. It's Columbia. Um,
She's a symbol.
Columbia Pictures. The movie company, Columbia Pictures. That's the same woman.
Mm.
Different than who's who they switched and put on the Eiffel, not the Eiffel Tower, but the Statue of Liberty. You know
I wish I
that.
can zoom. I need. Oh, that says school book.
Yeah, they bringing education to the West,
Mm,
to the ignorant.
mm,
The
mm.
buffalo, they're running them off. They're almost extinct.
Yeah, they
Uh,
killing them, and they killed them for sport.
right,
You basically you killing off the indigenous peoples, one of their food sources. You took their other food sources and made them move to another area. Basically, you kind of you got tribes. One tribe moves into another tribe, and it's like, yo, well, you know why you in our land? Yo, the
right.
white man coming. White man coming.
Yeah,
So you don't know what beef they might have or what other animosity they might have had moving westward,
right. Now,
because only
that's not to
go
say because we'd be remiss to say that there wasn't already indigenous people to the West, because there were. That's where the Californians were. Uh,
ahead.
there was there were tribes of indigenous blacks that were already in the region of Oklahoma. Um, so it wasn't like we was not already across America.
True.
It's just that a lot of the West Coast tribe, I mean, excuse me, the East Coast tribe were pushed into the middle of the country and were pushed to the West Coast, trying to be eliminated.
And being exterminated at the same time,
Right,
because the indigenous people was the United States' greatest problem,
right.
and nobody
They,
wants to admit.
it's funny. The indigenous people were the greatest problem, but they were the greatest um, advantage, greatest resource uh, for America. When people
Mm,
keep saying America was built on our backs, that is a literal statement.
uh-huh.
I mean, that's not uh, an allegory. That's not hyperbole. That's real.
But it's interesting because everybody will say no, they was built the backs of slavery. Slave Africans.
Nah,
Study your history.
nah.
Study your history. Just like we research for yourself, and you're gonna find out. The Homestead Act. You're gonna find out. The Indian Removal Act. Indian removal. It wasn't like they kind of had pity and said, all right, we'll move them. If they die, they die because we
Right,
ain't helping them. We not giving them
right,
food. So basically you telling me, yo, Brian, you ain't got no car. You in Philadelphia. You in Pennsylvania. I need you to go to South Carolina. You doing this shit on foot. and we're gonna give you an escort, but I don't know how y'all gonna eat, but you'll figure that out on the way there. That hurts, and I think driving in the car, you're looking at 9 hours,
Right.
9 plus. You're doing this on foot, no
With women,
trains, no
with with
in
women and
children,
children.
with women and children, and you're moving everywhere you settle. They make you move again.
Right.
Everywhere you settle, you got to keep moving. So you have to understand. You sometimes we might look at indigenous people and say, why you didn't fight back, which is a lot of times they did,
Yeah.
but it was something that had family, and it was like once you overran, because this is where the military comes into. Jackson, that was it. Jackson, Grant, Grant didn't play. Grant did not play.
Jackson
That's
was
how we
ruthless too.
huh.
I said Jackson was ruthless too.
So this is where you have your Seminole Wars. You have him trying to remove all the indigenous people out of Florida. You know, these are battles that go on for 10, 15 plus years. So it wasn't like a quick, you know, we show up with the military and you up and leave. No, we fought
Right.
back. But then you had some people that was like, man, I have a family. And when you're surrounded by so many, you know, you sometimes you just have to, put your pride aside and you have to like, okay, we got to move. We have to move. So a lot of our ancestors had to do the same thing for us to be born, for us to
Right.
live, for us to find the truth and talk about it, put it out there. It's funny because they keep using the Bible for everything that they do. Everything America does, they use, or anything European, they use the Bible as it's like we're given the right. But you be looking in the Bible, it's like where does it say that? Where does it? So it's more of a religious thing. We see the doctrines of discovery, and it helps them to go out and spread the word to everyone. So basically, if you said you wasn't a Christian, they kill you if you didn't want to
Right.
convert over. That's
Anybody that wasn't a
that's why
Christian was a savage.
So they saying, and this is the thing about it. So you get United States treating it's the same thing that we hear today. You have civilized and you have non-civilized. We hear the doctrine of discovery, Africa. I don't know people there in Africa is uncivilized. They
Right.
was civilized. They damn near built your country. But you don't want to say, it's kind of like how you become the master of the teacher. So so we get to America and we hear the same thing. The indigenous people here are uncivilized
Right.
because our culture is different. Don't make us uncivilized because they've been living for 100, almost 100,000 years. How the hell they uncivilized?
True.
Because they respect the land. Y'all destroy it. That's why we have this
True.
problem now. That's why we have this situation now. Everybody talking about global warming because nobody respects the land.
Right.
Nobody respects nature. Nobody respects the animals. Nobody respects nothing. You know, we always consume, destroy. We'll worry about it later.
Right.
You know, so it's basically the white culture saying we're supreme. Because every picture that we see of America, you don't see anybody of color. You don't see an indigenous people being proclaimed. Me and Jerome complexion. We got them. They're not. You know, they are way lighter.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of interesting when you probably don't know how many tribes that you have mixed in you, but it's in you.
Right.
You know, but to see this expansion because they needed to get to Oregon, they needed to get to Montana, they needed to get to Dakotas because they was. If I would say, "Yo, I found some gold in Mississippi," everybody's
Hmm.
rushing in Mississippi to get gold.
Right.
So most of the time, it's only by somebody said this was there or we found this is there. So the expansion, like you say, maybe we might need to do a study on the great queen that was indigenous queen in California. I don't forget her name.
Khalifa.
There you go. See, that's why I got you, man. I'm slow. You fast. You on top of it. But certain phrases can be, manifest destiny.
Yeah.
That word united a nation, which I can say United States, to say, hey, we're going westward. So
Right.
anybody that comes in, just tell them to keep on going. But it's kind of like funny how you granting people 150, 160 acres. Like how you marking it off? How you saying this is yours? How you saying that this is yours? It's
Like I said, it was really just like giving them the mindset, and they had because they had to go out there and clear their own land. That's why they put the Indian Removal Act in there. You got the land, but you might have to kill the people that live on it. Is that cool? If
mm-mm.
God say so.
That sometimes I kind of get a little, not saying emotional, but yeah, because this is you watching the country that we continually stay in, and everybody's like, you need to be a patriot. This country just fought for this and fought for that. It's like, yeah, you fought my ancestors. You destroyed history. You destroyed cultures. You destroyed knowledge that's been living for tens of thousands of years
Right,
that
right.
we can't never get back because you started the Catholic schools for indigenous people children, and whatever because now you can't pass it on to generation to generation because now you have a generation that's brainwashed.
Right,
Once you break that link in that chain, it's gone
right,
because you can't pass it down to nobody if you know Christianity is your God. So it's kind of like, well, what did they do before that? What did they do before that? It's kind of hard because it was a broken link in the chain. So
right.
it's kind of like we have to read, we have to study, we have to get into it to understand what it is. It ain't like what I'm showing you is a bunch of BS. This ain't theory. This ain't
Right,
an opinion. I'm showing you facts.
right,
I'm telling you facts. Google it, YouTube it. You will see. This is not pretty. It depends on what angle you're looking at. From my angle,
right,
this is not pretty. From another person's angle, it might be like, yo, we had to do what we had to do,
right.
but not knowing who we kill and who we persecute. It's a sign of genocide.
I mean, it's definitely that. And like I said, just read the Indian Removal Act. You know, to remove a people from their land so you can acquire it is barbaric. But
you destroy cities because everybody keep thinking we stayed in teepees. No,
right now,
a lot of these structures that they just happen to move in that was already built.
right,
You know, because I mean, like if you was to go to Charleston, I guess it's the AME church that was built. They actually destroyed it. It burned it down and they rebuilt it, but it has Hebrew symbols on it, Hebrew literature on it, on the pews.
right,
You know, Christopher Columbus. All these people that come here, everybody would tell you who was here. They look like Africans. They only
right,
telling you when they say that they only going by skin color.
right.
They only telling you they skin color are just like Africans.
True.
But us and not saying we're a different species, but we're different.
Hmm,
We're different. Wait a minute, you did that for what? I don't know why you did that.
hmm.
It's they're cousins. Can I say that?
Uh, more
Well, you
like
tell me, Drew. Tell me, Drew. Tell me what's on your mind. I want to hear it. Come on, throw it at me. I'm ready to catch it. Come on, come on, come
I would classify it more like great grandchildren.
on. Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? About an older an older species. That's
Okay.
how I would say it. Um, but what we've always seen is like, how children want to be grown and they want to take their parents'
Uh-huh.
place.
Uh-huh.
That's the energy that you see. That's the energy that you feel. It's like the ones that have knowledge, they know that there's an ancient race, right? And so when
Uh-huh.
they got this land, this was their opportunity to remove the ancient people and to acquire this land. That's why it was like God done it, because God has set the ancient ones there. So now God has given us the power to remove them. That's what they feel.
I think it's always like they always put God, which that's a whole different ball game if we get into that.
True.
I don't want to do that. That's that's a
We,
series. That's a
I
series.
mean, we'll
I ain't
get
gonna
into it another day.
say that's a series,
Just write that down. We'll get into it another day.
but idea how far we're gonna go back. That's the question, but we'll discuss that. But again, we're giving you bits and pieces of this history that nobody wants to talk about.
True.
Nobody wants to discuss. Everybody wants to hide from it. Or you won't even hear it in the history book. We already know you're not going to hear it in the history book because, this is that critical race theory. No, they only teach that in college. They don't even teach that in high school. They don't teach this in high school. So this critical race theory is more when you go to college and you take up, you can take this class. Well, I guess, yo,
I
what's up,
mean,
crew cut? So people need to understand this that this knowledge, it's not it comes, you have to be strong to to take this in. And it's for me, I actually told Jerome, it's like I want to quit, man, because it hurts. It's hurting when you study this when you learn about this history, when you dig deep and you keep seeing the wrong that's been done for since they came to this colony, since they came here, since the Virginia colony came here in 1613. When did the Virginia company came here, bro?
Oh, when did they first get in?
Yeah, we talking about the Virginia company. I ain't talking about the damn other one.
Oh, was it 1611?
Oh wait, 1608. 1608.
1608, yeah.
1608 is when all this happens, and they're just slowly just taking over. And everybody has to understand is they came here and they came here on bad land. They was in an area that nobody really deal with. You know, bad crops, bad seeds, because you came in the swamps. They came into that part of Virginia that a lot of people, a lot of us stay in them areas. It's not
Right,
it, it's not an area that is prosperous,
right.
and we see this. Let's see, crew cut put down 1608. They was learning Earth. Yes, that's true. Damn, crew cut done jumped on and just went on in it.
I think he was going for marshland and
Yeah,
swamp. Yeah,
but
it
but then
was.
but then this is where a lot of people need to understand when we come to this conclusion that we don't do this just because we actually this is research for us. I know I'm learning as I learn this stuff because you know
Ooh, I tell you something good to study if you like when you were talking about Virginia, when they were coming to Virginia, the Great Dismal Swamp. It's like in between North Carolina and Virginia. Now the indigenous people there, the black people there. I mean, it's some great stories with that. I mean, I don't have time to unpack it because that's a show to within itself. But the Great Dismal, if anybody want to look it up,
so it's like I said, once you get on this journey, you might throw religion out the though you have to let religion go because religion would be a bond when you're trying to study United States history because it ain't pretty.
correct,
So that's why I tell a lot of people when you again like next week, what we're celebrating next week, we celebrating Thanksgiving,
right,
and the same indigenous people that met these pilgrims was died and massacred 60 years
right.
ago. Within 60 years, they already died and massacred. The
Yeah,
same
you're
people
right.
that they met, the same people that started Thanksgiving, and that Thanksgiving, that whole Thanksgiving massacre that's a whole. Oh my God. Mm, learn your holidays. Learn your holidays. So, all right, boys and girls, this is another lesson from the Three Headed Monster podcast. But comment, please, y'all. Give us more stuff that I want to learn and understand because it's a lot of stuff that we can get into. Um, Again, you help me learn stuff when people put it out there and still, like I'm saying, studying in this early American history. I know we kind of jump around with the dates. This something that we do, but understanding manifest destiny actually is an intricate part of the Civil War because you have places like Kentucky, you know, that's like, new states that's coming in. It's like, yo, we like this slavery thing. Let's keep it moving. We're gonna take these indigenous people and we're gonna make them our slaves. We're gonna have them working for us. You
Right.
have other. indigenous people, saying they enslaved other indigenous people and, this and this and that. But you got to understand, these people are starving, so they trying to do whatever they can to get whatever, money to feed their people. I'm not saying that it was right. No, I'm not saying it is right at all. But at the same time, you have to look at it in a different aspect because a lot of our indigenous people are starving. So you had to do what you had to do to keep your your people alive. Again, these are our ancestors. They moved so we can be here. So they sacrificed making that move, leaving our place, leaving where we was already established, so us to live.
True.
So I guess that's I'm getting my final words in, and you know again, understand who we are, believe in who you are, learn who you are. Just it's not hard. It's not even. I challenge you to study who you are and your ancestors. Some, yeah, some might come from Africa, but a majority of us was already here.
True.
We can show you that in King Philip's War was the early 1600s. They were sending our people to the Caribbean, but check that podcast out. So love yourself, believe in yourself. Don't be afraid to look in the mirror and say I love you, and then say I love you back. I digress. Go ahead, Jerome.
Well, like I said, manifest destiny. Like I said, the remnants of it is still here in America, and you see it through entitlement. People believe that they have something or are entitled to something just because they are. But study, 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 study. Um, the more you know, the different thing, different, the different history looks to you. You'll see history in a different manner the more you study and the more facts that you get. And you'll see how much has been hidden from you and why you've been hidden inside of history. Um, but if you're on YouTube, please like, please share, hit the notification bell so you'll know when we're on. Um, yeah, every time we do this, we just disappear. And like I said, and plus, if you look at when you're looking at history, anything prior to 1800s, you're not going to see the word black or black people because those words were black and white were made up in the 1800s. So a lot of times we miss ourselves in history because we don't know what we were calling ourselves at the time. Not just here in America, I'm talking about around the world. Uh, but to close it up, shout outs to Crew Cut. But just study, man. Show yourself approved. You know, keep keep searching, keep looking. You'll find yourself.
Hey, there was another three-headed monster podcast, y'all. Peace.
Peace.